Okay. Okay, so I have to start again. I'm sorry. Okay, so good evening, everybody. My name is Oindamola Adile. I'm the team lead at AJH. So I already talked about what we do at AJH. So who we are, we provide accounting vacancies, career advice. So let me just move to our vision. So our vision is to be a one-stop shop for quality accountants, and our mission is to trade world-class qualified accountants that can compete on the global scene. So we know that accounting is taking up different shape. The accounting profession is taking different form and different, like it's really progressing. There are more trends coming up right now. So we need to position ourselves to become those accountants, not just like an outdated accountant, but a 21st century accountant. So as an accountant right now, a finance professional, you start thinking about what the accounting profession looks like in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, and start positioning yourself for it basically. So that's one of the things we try to do at AJH. So we want to ensure that we have quality people or quality professionals that can, now we have the world is a global state, like it's a global market now. Like you can be in Nigeria and have job in Australia. You can be in Australia and employ somebody in Nigeria. Like a lot of things are happening currently. So now I want to position accountants for this, like finance professionals, to be able to take advantage of these opportunities, these global opportunities. So we're not only thinking Nigeria, we are now thinking globally. So our business offerings, we do outsource accounting, we prepare management reports for companies, we do talent acquisition, that is the recruitment part of what we do, and outsourcing. We do CV revamping and LinkedIn optimization. I'm so sorry. Then we have CAC registration. Let me see if this is still recording. Okay, then we have CAC registration. We have IFRS and IAS training. We have tax consulting, tax training. Then we also have accounting software implementation and training. So I'll just be going to the topic of today. So today's topic is how to create a compelling CV. So at the end of this class, all participants should be able to know the difference between a CV and a resume, then what a CV is and its purpose. Apologies for that. I don't know. Please, whenever we are asked to, whenever we are on a virtual meeting, I think the first thing we should know, like the etiquette of an online meeting, is muting your mic, because most of the classes are actually recorded, and those external noises will affect the quality of the recording for people that want to have the recording after the class. So that being said, so today's topic, as I was saying, is how to create a compelling CV. So number one, at the end of this class, you should know the difference between a CV and a resume. Then number two, you should know what a CV is. Okay, please, let's just try to mute our mics, please. So we should know the difference between a CV and a resume. Then we should know what a CV is and its purpose. Then also vital information on our CV, the things that should be on our CV. Next, you should know the 10 commandments of CV writing, strategies for application, the practical. We are going to the practical aspect. So we first deal with the theory. I want to be sure that I'll be done with the theory by 6 o'clock so that we can start the practical and we'll be done, so we can take more questions. Then also we'll be doing purpose of the cover letter, then how ATS works. I'm sorry, I'm the moderator of this meeting, so I'm trying to watch people that are coming in, and I'm so sorry. Okay, so I can move on. So the difference between a CV and a resume. So when most people hear CV and resume, though in Nigeria we use it interchangeably, but abroad, like a resume is just like a formal document. It's a formal document that just provides a summary of your work experience, your skills. Like most people use a resume to get a job. But a CV is more like maybe you want to apply for scholarship, fellowship, grants, and all those things. So a CV is more longer in length than a resume. A resume is a summary, so max 2 pages. So in Nigeria, we interchange CV and resume. So when your HR asks you to send your CV, the actual word is resume actually. But because we were colonized by the Europeans, so Europeans use CV to describe all kinds of job application, including resume. But in United States and Canada, the CV and resume are sometimes used interchangeably, but they mean two different things. So if you're applying for scholarship abroad, like people that want to jackpot, for instance, and they ask you to do a CV, the CV you are doing is not the one you want to use to get a job. You have to list out all your achievements, like everything you've done in school, basically, to get you the application. So you have to tell them why you are fit. So you notice that a CV will now be longer than a resume. A resume is just like a summary. But CV, what curriculum vitae means is your story. You have to tell your story on your CV, basically. So going to the next slide. So this is like the major difference between CV and resume. So resume emphasizes your skill, but CV emphasizes your academic accomplishments. Then the resume is used when applying for a position in the industry. Then CV is used when applying for positions in academia, fellowships, and grants. So your CV will be more lengthy than your resume. Then your resume should not be longer than 2 pages with an additional page for publications or other things. But basically, your resume should not be So if I'm using resume now, because we were colonized by the British, by the European, I can be using resume and CV interchangeably. But when you're applying for all these things, like when they ask you, maybe you're applying for a scholarship and they say you should send your CV, you know that you'll be doing more than what should be in your resume. You're not applying for a job, you're applying for a grant, basically. Then the next one is, after, I think that one is not really, I will share the slide with everybody at the end of the class. And after 1 year experience, lead with work, those ones are not really necessary. So I want to quickly run through this. So the 10 commandments of CV writing. Number 1, the quality you ascribe to yourself is not only reflected on your CV, but how you present it. So I want to talk about something on this first commandment of CV writing. Like when you're writing your CV, the way you present your CV will determine how your prospective employer will view you. So for instance, if you just did your CV anyhow, like you just did it sharply, so that's why most people pay a lot of money for CV revamping, right? Because you give it to a professional to help you to do. But me, I believe it's something you should be able to do on your own. Like, I believe it's something you should be able to do on your own. Like, so once there was a client I helped to do CV, she said when our employer saw it, the man was even an Indian, said that, wow, that's the feedback she gave me, that the CV was done by a professional because of the way it was aligned and all. So when you just do your CV, like when you ask people to send their CVs, probably you have an accounting role or you have a different kind of roles that you want to apply for, then you just send your CV anyhow. Like this thing, I just wish I'm even looking for an opportunity where I can host classes like this for graduates or undergraduates, because when you expect graduates to know these things that they are basic, but they are not actually basic. It's just because you are exposed to knowledge. That's why you know that there are some kind of things that should not be on your CV. So that's why we are doing classes like this, to bridge the gap between that knowledge. Because recently I was recruiting for a role. I'll still get to it. Then we asked people to send their CV. Even the way they send the CV was, we are getting there actually. Like, how will you send your CV without a subject, without the body of the letter? So it just shows, and even your CV, you just modeled a lot of things together, right? So what people should do is, the way your CV is, when the HR sees that you took your time to actually send the CV to them, they want to open it and find out what's there. So we also get to the purpose of cover letter. That's where cover letter comes to play. Like in the body of your mail as you're applying, right? You should also put something there, like the way your CV is composed. Like there are some things you should sell yourself in such a way that the HR wants to open your CV, basically. So that's what this means, that how you present your CV determines how you be, what's the word, how the HR review you. So for instance, if you're applying for a senior role, then you're sending CV for maybe an entry level, or you just send your CV sharply, the person will not even take you seriously. Or even if you are invited for the interview and you take your CV there, how do you want the managers, how do you want the recruiters to view you, basically? So your CV tells a lot about you. So you say you pay attention to details. So I'm already on number 2 now. You say you pay attention to details, but you're making grammatical errors on your CV. So your CV should be proofread. Maybe after you've done your CV yourself, you should also allow somebody else to proofread it. So you can use tools like Grammarly, Qbot, and all for grammar and spelling checks. Then the next one is, a lot of times, you guys, you know that you're not qualified for the role. Don't waste the HR time. But one thing is that none of us are 100% qualified for the roles we apply for. So if you meet 70% of the criteria, you can apply. But one of the things I've noticed is this thing is that accountants are guilty about it. You feel your accounting CV can get you anywhere. You're applying for a sales role, you're using an accounting CV. Okay, you're applying for human resource role, you're using an accounting CV. Like, I feel this, I want to drag accountant. I'm an accountant. Let me drag our profession today. Like, it's wrong. You cannot use one CV to apply for different kind of roles. So you know that, okay, for instance, I can use myself that, okay, I'm an HR. I want to go into data analytics. I cannot now use my HR CV to apply for data analytics. I need to start talking about what I'm doing in data analytics. So you cannot use one CV to apply for different things. Or you want to apply for customer service, then you're sending a CV of a graphic designer. It does not add up, right? So the next one is don't lie on your CV. This one usually haunts a lot of people. Because if you put things that you cannot do on your CV, you definitely be found out. Because when they start asking you questions, because it's what is on your CV, that the HR will ask you, or whatever you present, like, don't just lie on your CV. Like, integrity is key in everything we do. So if you know there's a particular skill that is on your CV that you cannot do, just remove it. Or if there's a skill you feel you can do, you can handle, put it there. So it's better for you not to even lie on your CV. Like, don't lie on jobs or roles that you've not done before and you're putting it on your CV. Then the next one is use the XYZ formula. What does this mean? So use actionable words. Don't just like copy and paste your job description on your CV. Like, that's what most of us do, and that's what I've been doing in a long time. I'll say I'm even guilty of that. But until I learned that I have to put actionable words like my achievements, you use why to accomplish, right? So for instance, now if you're an HR, okay, I was able to recruit 10% of the workforce this year using probably I used LinkedIn. Then what did I get? I was able to now recruit quality professionals and quality employees for the company. Like, you just state what you did. Most times when you're applying for a job, because the major purpose of your CV is to let the recruiter notice you, is to get that job, basically. So you have to sell yourself in such a way that the HR will be willing to invite you for the interview. So what can you do? So it's not really about your certificates or your education. Now it's not about what you can do. So CV is the thing that gets your foot into the door. But the interview is what determines if you'll be invited in, basically. Or let me use it like this: your CV is what gets you into the building. The interview is now what determines if you'll be called back into the building to start the job, basically. So your CV gets your foot into the company, but how you now perform in your interview and how you can sell yourself now determines how long the interview process will go on, or how, if they will end up employing you. So the next one, okay, that's number 6. I think I already said that. Don't copy your job description into your CV. Most recruiters don't know what they don't want to, they are not bothered about what you've done in your previous place, like your job description. They want to know is what they want to know is that, okay, I have a vacancy now. I have a vacancy, right? Out of the 10 things I've listed in this vacancy, can you do at least like 8 on your own perfectly? So job application is not what you can do. It's not what you've done in your previous place. But even if it's still relating to what you've done, so tell me how you can perform or what you can do in this new place, not just copying your job description, but what did you do? What were you able to achieve? Okay, I was able to save 20% savings for my company. I was able to generate revenue, like action words. Okay, we were able to recruit 10,000 talents and 800 stayed. We didn't have labor turnover. Okay, we were able to open new branches. We were able to do some analysis that made the company and recommended some actionable points that made the company save costs and reduce its expense and all like that. So you need to say things that you can defend, basically. Then also, as much as possible, use bullet points. So don't just rumble all your what's it called? We like call them like your unique selling points. That's the things you've achieved in your current workplace or over time. Don't just rumble everything up. Use bullet points. We'll still get there. Then number 8, what's your unique selling points? Like I said, why would they invite 5 people for an interview and choose you? Let's just think about that. So one thing I always tell myself is if I go for interviews, if they are choosing the top 3, I should be among. So your CV, you should position your CV and also position yourself to that position, position yourself to that level where If they invite 50 people for an interview, if they are picking the top 10, you should be among, right? So what's your unique selling point? Think about it. What's that skill you have that the next person has? Or what's even the skill that everybody has, but you can do it in a unique way? Then number 9, when discussing your work experience, start with your current or most recent job experience. So if you are currently, we are in 2023, so your job experience should start from 2023, right? Don't start from, so I've seen this mistake, so a lot of people do it. So you start from, so let's say you start your career in 2007, that's 2007. Your, what's it called? Your CV should start from the latest dates, right? So it should start from 2023. So it will now have 2023, 2022, 2021, right? Not that you now start from, let's say you started your career in 1994, or you started your career in 1995. You see, the HR will feel like, which archaic person am I hiring? And you even notice that the job duties in 1994 has changed over time. Like the workplace has changed. So it's better for you to show that you are current and use the most current date. Then number 10, don't send your CV as a link. I always ask people, don't even send it as Word, send it as PDF, because if you send your CV as Word, there's a way that if somebody else is receiving it, can scatter. So just put it as PDF where everything is tidy, and it even saves it in the format that you've done. So nothing is not scattering your format, like some things you've already formatted on your CV, basically. So more commandments, right? Highlight your key skills before going to your work experience. I like this one. Like, before you even talk about your education or anything, talk about your key skills. So immediately after your work experience, we are still getting there. I'll show us how a CV should be. Put your skills. People now, recruiters are more particular about skills. What can you do? So even before your education, before other things, I noticed that some people even put education before their work experience, which I'm not really a big fan of. So I prefer to put my work experience first, then my skills. But you can also interchange it, put your skills first, then your work experience, which is not bad. Then number 12, put your LinkedIn summary. You cannot be an high performing, you cannot say you are in the workspace now and you don't know what LinkedIn is. You're looking for a job, you don't know what LinkedIn is, right? So you need to be on LinkedIn. Like if you tell me today that you're looking for a job and I ask you that, are you on LinkedIn? And you say no, I am not even furthering that conversation. First go and start your LinkedIn account, right? Because this now, you know, what CV does. CV, you are being on the defense, you're like attacking. I don't even know how to use it in this football term, right? But for CV, you are trying to get it. But on LinkedIn, it's the recruiters that are looking for you. I don't know how to put that right. Like your CV is you that is applying, it's you that is begging to apply. But on LinkedIn, they are begging you to apply. You get? So yeah, once you've positioned yourself in such a way and you optimize your LinkedIn, which we'll be talking about tomorrow, Perpetua will be on the call to take us on LinkedIn optimization tomorrow, right? So today, as I was saying, your CV is just like you've been trying to get that job, begging to apply, sending that, please consider me for the job. But on LinkedIn, right? So it's better for your CV to have linked to your LinkedIn so that they can just check you up. And LinkedIn can do a lot because your CV is summarized to max 2 pages. But on LinkedIn, you can see, put all your accomplishments, put all your certificates, put all your awards, put everything there, basically. So LinkedIn can tell story about yourself in the about section. Today is not about LinkedIn, but it's just to give us that LinkedIn has a better overview of who you are. Like from your LinkedIn, I can determine if you're a serious professional or you are not. Do you get? So your LinkedIn is just like your virtual CV where people can easily know you as a professional. Then number 13, check your social media. Like now for some roles, they'll go and check you on if you are the type that likes tweeting on Twitter about different things that are very relevant. So there's something we call social media footprint. So you are putting your footprint in different places. So if you are the type that you're not a serious type, you don't talk about. So one thing is that let your employer see you as an expert, that they are employing an expert to be in this role, right? So not necessarily that you must, even if you don't even have any social media footprint, it's better than having a social media footprint that is questionable. Maybe you're posting some lewd things online, like things that does not make sense. But maybe as a professional, some professions expect you to have integrity, like a high standard, right? So they cannot be expecting, imagine they want to employ a manager and the manager was posting rubbish on Twitter. the manager was posting rubbish on Facebook, the manager was posting rubbish on different social media platforms. But when they check you out, like they can't employ you so that you don't tarnish the image and the reputation of the company in the long run. And for some C-suite roles to like CEOs, CFOs, and all those CTOs and all, you have to check your background, do a lot of background checks so that one mistakes from you does not end up tarnishing the image of the company, basically. Then the next one is customize your application for what you're applying for. So if you're applying for a design role, see your CV as a design project. Don't turn in an accounting type CV. This thing, I don't know, accountants are the guilty ones of this, right? It's not as if I just want to drag them, but there's a business development role, you're sending in an accounting CV. Like, should your accounting CV now, should it now, okay, because you're an accountant, we should employ you. Me, if I even see like an accountant for a business development role, I won't really apply. I won't employ that kind of accountant because most accountants are not really sales savvy, because except maybe you went for a sales training course that, okay, yes, I see it on your CV, but you should tailor your CV. Like, so on your CV, you should only talk about if you're applying, okay, let's say I'm an HR now, or let's say I am, okay, let me use, yes, I'm an HR and I want to apply for, let's say, customer service role. I'll remove everything HR from my CV and look for probably a time where I did a customer service and tweak my CV to be in what's it called now? To be in customer service. Like, I'll treat it to be in customer service line. Not that because I'm HR, I can apply for anything, I'll just use my HR role. Or I'm an accountant, I can apply for anything, right? So the next one, if you're applying for a sales role and your experience is not in sales. So one thing is that you can highlight your sales skills, right? And your sales experience. Even if it's like probably just highlight the things you can do in sales on your CV. Like, just let them know that, okay, yes, I can do sales. I have different skills in sales, basically. So if you have any questions, right, you can just drop them in the chat box. So I go to the next one. So strategies for application. If you are sending your CV in 100 places, you're probably doing it wrong. So one thing is, when we are starting out in our career, we just apply to several places. So you need to be more intentional than that. You need to be more intentional about your application. That's why I always advise people to like go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn still helps you more than, CV. Now a lot of people are applying applications, but on keywords to look for you, they can find you. Then the next one is okay. The next one is okay. Sorry, kindly. One. Okay, I think I am. He's kindly hold on. I'm currently trying to. Okay, okay. Let me see. Is it back? Okay, it's back on. So, as I was saying, apologies for that. Let me continue. Okay, please. So sorry about that. Okay, so as I was saying, where did I stop? Apologies for that. So I was saying that, okay, so the next one is the real job description. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, let me just leave that much. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's already coming up. Apologies. So the next one, Okay. So the next one, sorry. I was having a challenge earlier. So the next one is the real job description for the role is more extensive than what's advertised. So when you're doing interviews, just ask them for the JD in case if they will not even be adding the JD to your offer letter. So you can ask them to give you the JD so you can prepare beforehand. And also do your own work about the company. So research, check their company culture, check a lot of things. I think culture is like the most important thing most people really overlook because some cultures can be very toxic basically. So it's better for you to just ask around, and that's why you have to network with a lot of people, ask questions like, okay, is this company a good place? How is their relationship with staff and a lot of things basically. So I think culture is basically the most important thing you should ask for. Then the next one is money, definitely. So if you have to choose, okay, I'd like to drop this poll I'd like to get our thoughts on it to make this interactive. So if you have to choose between a great salary and an excellent work culture, which one would you choose? Basically? So which one would you choose? Some people are saying they're in the waiting room. So I'm waiting for a response in the chat box. So if we were to choose money or an excellent work culture, I literally said both goes hand in hand. Okay. So I think so in order for you not to be using your salary to be curing the toxicity of the workplace, so it's better for you to have both the money and ensure that they have an excellent work culture. So today is not about job application, today is about CV actually. So the next one is kindly hold on. What's going on now? Okay. Okay. So the vital information that should be on your CV. So number one, your name and contact information, very important. Number two, your summary. Number three, education. Number four, your work experience. Number five, your skills. Six, accomplishment. Number seven, training, certification, and awards. Then number eight, interest and hobbies. Then how does ATS works? So the way ATS works is that ATS is application tracking system, right? So what applicant tracking system. So what ATS does is that because of the myriad, a lot of applications that HR gets, so they use this because most times the HR department may just be like two people. So they do have a lot of team to be checking all the mails that were sent. So the way ATS works is that so they put your CV into that tracking system. Then because so the HR so for instance, if an HR is recruiting for a tech role, okay, I don't really know the JD of a tech role. Let me say an HR is recruiting for I can say an HR is recruiting for a salesperson, or okay, let me use a digital marketer. So let's say an HR wants to recruit a digital marketer, right? So the HR will put all the skills that are needed for the HR digital marketer, different job descriptions that are needed for the digital marketer, put it into the tracking system. So once they are feeding the tracking system with the CVs, any CVs that have those skills, that's what the HR will pick. That's what the tracking system will pick as applicants. I don't know if we get what I'm saying. Okay, I'm trying to mute this person. Okay. So one thing is that you have to ensure that your CV matches. That's why you cannot use one CV to apply for different job. So one thing is that you have to ensure that your CV has that skills that they will put into the tracking system. So for instance, like digital marketer, you ensure that there's something like SEO, what's it called? Optimization, search engine optimization, search engine SEM, a lot of things like you can do graphic design, you can use Canva, you can use a lot of things. Like you can run Google ads, you can run Facebook ads. So all those things should be on your CV. Then let me come to the accounting balance. You're an accountant. There are some basic skills that should be on your CV. Reconciliation, general ledger, budgeting, financial analysis, financial reporting. Like we should have those kind of things on your CV, basically. So that's one of the skills they will put into the tracking system. Then anybody that does not have that thing on their CV, the tracking system just spells out that CV. Then the ones that have it, the tracking system picks it. So that's when the HR now reach out to you. So it just makes, instead of the HR opening mails and be checking one by one and giving the HR edit, so the ATS just like sift through the list of plenty CVs, and the ATS just sifts through the list of plenty CVs and pick the ones that have the core skills. So this leads me through the basic step in tailoring your CV. So one thing I do is I'll do the practical of this, like for every application. So you read through the job description, right? Then you identify 3 to 4 key terms or requirements that I think are important to the employee. So let me try to share another screen now. So let me escape this one. Okay. Okay, so now let me try to share my screen. Okay, yes. So for instance, now you want to apply for a job. Let me look for one job online. Okay, so for instance, now I want to look for, let me say I'm looking for HR, Human Resource Manager. So HR vacancies in Lagos. Okay, so I want us to do like a quick assignment for me. I should have done this at the beginning of the class, right? So one thing you can do for me is to kindly tell me your job roles, so I'll know how to tailor the next section of this class. So let me know my target, my audience, so I'll know how to tailor what I want to do. So now, for instance, like based on the 5 steps, this one does not have plenty job description. Okay, so now I can see, yes, this one is human resource assistant temporary. So I've seen this JD now, and let's say I'm a human resource intern. So I'll make sure that at least 5 of these, if I can do all of this, right, I'll just copy and paste it on my CV, right? Like as things I can do. Then I'll also look for skills. Then do I have the qualifications? Then in this thing now, in my skills, interpersonal skills will be there. Then organizational skills will be there. Time management skills will be there. Proficiency with MS application will be there. The knowledge of laws related. So you tailor so that's why you need to be very intentional with applications. So you pick the JD, put it on your CV, pick the skills, put it on your CV, then check the qualifications. Do you align with those kind of qualifications? So it's not as if you are just scamming the HR. It's not scam, but if you can do everything, put it on your CV. So the place of lying will come where out of all these JDs that are listed here now, you cannot do like 2 or 3 of them, but you are saying that you can do them. So that's where lying will prohibit lying. So you just go through the roles, check the ones you can do, then put them on your CV, because it's this list of responsibilities that the HR will put on the ATS to track, right? The HR will put it on the ATS to track. Then if your CV does not have any one of either the skills or the job description, it will just flag your CV basically. So that's what ATS does. So when you're preparing your CV, would kindly take that to heart. Okay, Treasury, and please, we want more responses. We have 21 people on the call, and please let us know what profession you are into. Okay, we have accountants, we have treasury, so I'll know who my target audiences are. I'm waiting for our responses, please.
Ma, I can't hear you, ma.
Yes, I'm waiting for responses. Okay, people have been responsive. Okay, so I have more accountants on the call. Okay, that is great. So I can just tailor my. So we'll be doing a CV now for, let's say I want to do a CV for a finance manager. So let me just show you the types of CV that we have. So your CV there's no a generally accepted CV, like your CV must be like this, right? So your CV can take any form. So I'll be showing us like 5 or 6 different forms of CV shortly. Okay. All right. Thank you all for your response. I really, really appreciate it. So, okay, so we have different types of CV. So let me open this first one. Think I can take this one. Okay. All right. I don't know if we can see my screen properly. So this CV now is for a tax person, right? So if you see the way the person is, this is the profile summary. So you can see the basic things, your email address, and be careful of some funny email addresses, right? Your phone number that they can easily reach you. So it's not the phone number that they will call and they won't be able, because the first point of contact that HR does is either they use your email or your phone number, then your address. So you don't need to put your full address, because now, to be security conscious, you don't need to put your full address on your CV, right? So now your profile, you can just give them like a this profile summary, then a profile of what you've done. Like this one will even tell if the HR will be more interested in you than your experience. So if you can see the experience is starting from 2023, then you know that this is a CV of a tax guru, or I'll say a tax consultant. Then after your work experience, so after your professional summary, this one has went for the experience, then leadership and award. But if I were to have done this, I would have put my skills and competence after this work experience. So instead of leadership and award, I would have just put my skills. Let me just copy and paste it. So I'll just put my skills after my work experience. At least they know that I have experience and they should be looking forward to my skills. So I'll just put my skills there. So you see that this one has few technical skills. So there's no one size fits all for CV. This is a CV for a tax person. Then you can use any format. So this is not like me telling you that this must be the format you must use, but you notice that this person used some actionable words in their CV. So he's saying that as a tax consultant, he's telling the HR what he did independently and do the portfolio of more than 25 clients. So when I see this, I'll be like, yes, this person can take charge of, what's it called? Can take charge of, is a, what will I call this person now? So this person can handle tax without supervision, basically. Since you handle the portfolio of more than 25 clients, that means you can work as a supervisor, you can work as a manager. So I can even consider this person for a tax manager role, right? Then the person just said, broke down, like you use action words, conducted, participated, played, successfully filed, took trainings, collaborated. So don't just put, so if you notice, the person mix his JD with actionable words that I did. If you see provided support, expertise in computing, so you use actionable words, then and how they had effects on the client, right? Then let me look for another one for a finance manager. I think this one is a finance manager. Yeah. So these CVs are okay. Let me. There's one for a finance manager I copied here. Yeah, this one. Okay. Is this still the same thing? I don't know. Okay, successfully. I need to share my screen for the next one. Okay, share. All right. So this one now is a okay, let me just use this one. So this one is for a senior manager, right? So if you notice first name, middle name, last name, email, LinkedIn profile link. Okay, that one did not have LinkedIn profile link. So you can put your LinkedIn profile link, then your phone number. Then we have motive. You put your profile, like what you've done over time, like just to capture the interest of the HR. Then we have experience, a financial reporting. So if you see actionable words here too, saved 2 million, contributed significantly to the successful. So you see that the person is actually mixing achievement plus what they've done. So it's just like mixing your achievements with your job description. Like what were you able to achieve? What were you able to do? Like what were you able to achieve in it? From what have you done? So it's what and what you can do, basically. So if you say increase efficiency, contributed to success. So you need to use words like oversee, manage, work hand in hand, contributed reduced, significantly contributed. So it's not just that you're copying your what's it called now? It's not just that you're copying your and pasting your job description here, but you are making it actionable, right? Then we have leadership and award. Then we have a session for professional membership, training, and certification, so that the HR will know that, okay, yes, you are somebody that is a lifelong learner, and you still keep taking professional certification even after your basic education, your BSc, your graduates, your masters, and all. Then leadership and awards for if you are going for leadership positions, and then your education. For me, I even feel education is like the list of the entire thing. Like, just one thing is that in the scheme of things, they may not even ask you where you schooled, right? What your skills and competence. So you ensure that everything on your skills and competence, we have few technical skills, soft and hard skills, software skills. But some people, so they do things like they they can highlight this too is not bad. This is not like a one size fits all. So you can use any format to prepare your CV, but I'll be showing us a format for a CV. So then this one too, I think I prefer this because this one looks more matured, right? So this one is like for a finance manager too. But instead of so why I like this one is because immediately after my profile summary. So one of the things I've learned now is that for this profile summary, you should put it in bullet form. Don't make it too, so you just put everything in bullet form so that the HR can easily read it instead of just like combining everything together. So if you see how it was before, this was how it was before. The HR, it may not be too good for readability, but once I added bullet points to it, it made it okay. Then I highlighted skills and competencies, like basic things that I can do, just like I added both soft skills and hard skills here. So I didn't separate it like I did for the other one. Then if you see, we have audit associates. So we have examination of clients, computation, review. But this one is more of like combining. This one does not have a lot of actionable words. This one is more of like using your JD, but actually it's just best to, I don't know, I like this format, but you can use anyone. So it's just showing you that your CV is not a one size fits all. And you make sure that your location is there. So you don't need to put your full address, right? You don't need to put your, so we'll be doing one CV today, Sha, for training. Then let me show us another one. So it depends on what you're applying for that will determine how your CV should be. So this is what a normal standard CV should look like. But me, I prefer putting, so this one is another CV now that I got online. So if you see, they made their summary to be in bullet form so that the HR can easily read it. Then we have education, then work experience. But me, I prefer work experience should come immediately after summary. So it's not like a one size fits all, like you must do your CV a certain way. Just make sure that you can easily read it and is aligned. So you start from the earliest dates, that's 2023 till the end, like where we are currently. You can put in your volunteer activities, then your skills, interests, and language. Then why I like that my other CVs, because there's a part where I can talk about my interests. So I'm trying to look for it. I know I'm switching in between slides, but then okay, so there's where I can put my hobbies and interests, like okay, what I do. At least the recruiter should know me outside work, what I'm interested in. So my hobbies and interests and a lot of things. So and your reference, so you don't need to put your reference on the CV. When it's time for them to ask you for reference, you can just put it available on request. But you always fill a reference form when you get your offer letter. They will ask you to add two people your reference from your previous workplace or probably professional that you have, right? So that being said, I would like us to, I want to show us one more before we now do the practical. Uh, let me see. Yes, before, okay, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So let me see another one. Okay, yes. So this one, so I used to see a lot of people use it, but I don't know why I don't like it. So this one, when people like divide their CVs into two, I don't really, you can drop your question in this You can drop a question in the chat room. So I don't really like this one because I don't know. I think I'm just biased, basically. But when I see somebody send me this, I don't know. I'm not an HR, so I don't really know. But I feel maybe this one for probably tech bros or something. Then also don't put your picture on your CV. It's not necessary, right? Your picture on your CV is not necessary. When they want to see you, they'll schedule something. But you can use any format that is one thing is just make sure that the CV is highlighting your experience, is highlighting your skills, like so that it's not just modeled up together and all like that. Then I want to quickly enter cover letter. So one thing is when you are sending your CV and you're asked to send cover letter, so when you're even applying for the job, right, don't just send your CV without subject, or even if you send you don't add anything, just say kindly find attached. You can just let the recruiter know something about you. Like just let the recruiter know something about you that, oh, okay. Okay. I think I can use this. All right. So just the cover letter, like, okay, now let me leave cover letter, like the body of the email. You can just put something that would make the HR to call your open your CV on a mail or his or her mail. So that you're not just sending your CV and everything is bland like that, right? So, okay, please show us a CV for a recent graduate. Okay, can you send me your CV so that we can work on it on the call if we are okay with it? So normally a CV for a recent graduate should not be more than 1 page. But okay, I'll get to that. So like now, so if a company is asking for cover letter, you need to take your time to talk about yourself. You talk about your unique selling points, what you've done over time. Like what you've done over time. Then why should they take you for the role? Why should I even open your CV? So one thing is, once you are sending your mail, send it with the body of, let it have a body. Don't just send your mail out like that and send your CV out like that. Like let it have I'm looking for the word. Let it have something that will make this HR open your CV basically. And once you even do that, it separates you from the rest because people just do the barest minimum. You notice that some people even send their people will just send their CVs nonchalantly. Some will just put FYA. I'm not saying it's wrong because they ask you to provide your CV, but there's still a way that you can make it presentable. Like I let the HR even know that okay, yes, you are applying for something. So I want to show you how to attach like a summary of your cover letter in your kindly excuse me for it. Okay, as I was saying, apologies for that. I'm trying to go through the chat room. Okay, thank you. Okay, so like now for a graduate, it should just be like 1 page. So let me use this one to work on it. Let me share my screen. Okay, share. So if you have less than 2 years experience, your CV should just be 1 page. There's a way that you can, no, this is not the one I want to share. There's a way that you can put your CV to just be 1 page. So we'll be using this format for this person. So it's not really hard. Let me get the CV from the chat room. Okay. Download. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm coming. I'm trying to bring. All right. Let me see. Okay, I think she's let me get the name correctly so I don't. Okay, so Chism. Yes, Chism. So I hope you don't mind us scrutinizing your CV. I hope you don't mind because I'll be showing it on the chat. Okay. Okay. So let me go through it. So we have your basic details are there, your career summary, work experience. I think this CV is not bad, but we can put everything on this CV to one page, basically. Yep. Yeah, this CV is not bad, but the only problem I have with this CV is that the alignment is not proper, is not properly aligned because you used lines here, and when you go down here, you didn't use your lines again. So I'll say that it's not properly aligned. So we'll be using one of our formats to work on it. So let me share the format. I'll have to open this one. So one thing that is not hard, writing your CV is not hard. Once you have like a template that you can use, it's not hard to do your, it's not hard to prepare your CV. So this one is just one page. So we'll be working on Chisholm's CV. Let me just copy and paste that. Okay. This would be a bit challenging, but kindly show us a CV for a junior accountant of 2 to 3 years. Okay. I think that's the one I showed earlier. Sorry, Chisholm, we'll still work on your CV. Like you can use this one. Have I closed?
Okay, I think I'm having some challenges with my network. It's okay. I'll share. Okay, can you do me a favor? Just share your. Let me just share my number so that you can reach out to me. I'll share the I'll share the
Mas pare.